Very good evening, sir. Once again, we are extremely happy to have you in this platform, and we are really excited to see you share your insights on transcendental meditation and on Vedic management. And today's topic indeed is really exciting. So, without further delay, I would request you, sir, to please proceed with the session. Everyone, please stay tuned. Mr. Lothar sir is here with us.
Namaste. Greetings to everybody attending live today. It's my very great joy and honor to be part of the DPU faculty and to share the knowledge of Maharshi's Vedic Science and Maharshi Corporate Development Program with you. Last time we have talked about the tremendous benefits about transcendental meditation and business, the Maharshi Corporate Development Program. And today we want to give a short review of the benefits. And then I have selected for you, as promised, a little video about the research on the brainwave activities during transcendental meditation. And then we are going to cover a very interesting topic, how actually the technology of consciousness, the transcendental meditation works, which is a preparation to actually learning the technique. And I would like to share my screen with you, if you just give me a minute. So we have, as I said today, we will have a little review of what we saw last time, and then we talk about the systematic and simple technique of transcendental meditation, how we actually transcend, and how the mind goes towards more happiness in a very effortless way. And then we will also talk about the great Vedic tradition where this knowledge comes from. India, the land of the Veda, has, maintained this knowledge for many, many decades and even thousands and thousands of years. And then we will learn how we can actually learn the transcendental meditation technique. So last time we talked about management through natural law. We also have described in the last lesson the discovery of the unified field of all the laws of nature underlying all creation and how a company can make use of that. And we have seen some of the scientific research, the benefits for the company, how the quality of products and services can be improved, how peak performance can be reached, how absenteeism can be reduced, how efficiency, productivity, and sales are increasing, how we have seen that the healthcare costs are decreasing, and how we can make the corporate consciousness more coherent, more orderly. Then there are tremendous benefits also for the executives, like improved foresightedness in decision-making, broader comprehension and ability to focus, more energy, more vitality, increased creativity, better communication, and reduction of stress and better health for the personal life. And then we have seen also the benefits for the employees, more happiness, more freshness, fulfilling relationships at home, at work, better health, increased job satisfaction, less stress, less strain, and less problems. And then I explained also how the brainwave activity shows the unfoldment of our potential. We have seen for the brainwave research, like in the left column here, we see a group that meditates for 2 weeks, and they have been measuring the alpha waves, the waves that represent restful alertness during meditation before and after. And then you see in the middle of the chart a group that has been practicing transcendental meditation for 4 months, where you can see that more hidden reserves of the brain are being utilized. And in the right column, you see the long-term meditators who have been meditators for some years. And that you get an idea how actually the brainwave activities are being measured. I have prepared a little video for you.
What I'd like to do now is actually show you how the brain changes dramatically as a person begins the transcendental meditation technique. So what I've done is selected 4 leads, 4 points on the scalp. This front top one is the front left of the brain. This bottom 4th one is the front right. These are eye blinks here. These 2 are in the back part of the brain. So those with the eyes are the front part of the brain, that's your executive centers. The back is your visual processing center. The point I want you to notice is a number of things. What's going on in the front of the brain is different than what's going on in the back. Also notice how active, how thick these signals are. This is very fast processing. What we'll do now is we'll have Dariana close her eyes and she'll begin the TM technique. And what you'll notice is one thing is this fast activity will begin to disappear and you'll see very slow rhythmical activity. And you'll also see it in all the different sensors. So now close your eyes, begin to meditate. It's been 6 seconds. And now notice this back part of the brain. Here's the rhythmical alpha activity. It was first seen here in the back of the brain. This is your visual center. When you close your eyes, that part of the brain can rest. Notice as well, we see this rhythmical resting rhythm of the cortex here in the front of the brain. That whole mental chatter that's constantly going on, evaluating, deciding, planning, worrying, all of that is settling down as the whole conscious experience is becoming more whole, complete. What we'll do now is just watch the brainwaves for about 2 minutes while Dariana meditates. Thank you, Dariana. So you can stop meditating now. Notice as soon as I spoke, the frontal alpha disappears. What happens is during TM, the attention is turned within. All of mental awareness is settling down. You hear a sound, attention goes without. And as attention goes out, localized parts of the brain are processing. So the point I wanted you to see is how quickly the brain changes and how it's really fundamentally different than just waking, eyes closed experience.
So this is very fascinating to see how within seconds, the whole brain starts to have a different, more orderly style of functioning. And there have been so many scientific studies, more than 600 studies were published in more than 250 independent universities and research institutes in 33 countries around the world. And today we want to see how actually the transcendental meditation technique works and how you can learn it. To start with, transcendental meditation is very simple, very natural, very spontaneous. And what we experience during transcendental meditation is a fourth state of consciousness, pure consciousness, inner restful alertness. And I'd just like to give a little idea to you to think about. Every man is creative. If it's a student, if it's a businessman, how he runs the company, if it's the mother, how she educates the children, or the children, how they convince the parents that they need more pocket money, all of us are creative. And when we think for a moment where the creativity actually comes from, then it's very obvious the creativity comes from the thinking process. And when we analyze what is a thought, we're thinking all day long. Even at night, we continue thinking during the dreams. When we think what is actually a thought, then we will come to the conclusion that a thought is comprised of energy, it's a form of energy, and intelligence. And the intelligence is that which gives our thinking the orderly direction. And since the thoughts come from within, we come to the conclusion that every man has an infinite reservoir of energy and intelligence within. And so the mind during transcendental meditation goes very systematically inward. We have here a drawing which shows how the mind settles down. To meditate means to think about something. And to meditate means to contemplate, to go within. And transcendental comes from the Latin word transcendere, which means to go beyond. So what we do during transcendental meditation, suppose the thoughts are here on the active level of the mind, and here's our unconsciousness. We go deeper and deeper and deeper, and we go finally to the source of the thinking process, our total inner potential. So the mind settles down, and then that means goes beyond the activity. And what we experience then, that we are left with a state of inner pure consciousness, unbounded awareness. And you see, we are always drawn towards more happiness. Everything we do in life is for more happiness. Even if we bring a gift to our dear ones, we do it because we feel happy when they feel happiness. So we get a better job, that we have more money, that we can have a better computer, that we can have a better car, that we can have a nice vacation. So all the activities that we undertake, they are motivated by our inner nature to experience more happiness. And this even happens unintentionally. Just suppose you're talking to a friend, and then in the neighborhood there is some nice music. Then you may find after a minute that you're actually not listening to your friend, but that your attention was drawn to the music because it was more charming to the mind. And the source of the thinking process, our self, which is called in the Vedic terms Atma, which is by nature Ananda, bliss consciousness. This is our innermost self. And when the mind just learns how to go within, then it just happens very effortlessly and very spontaneously. And this is the power that is taking care of the process of transcendental meditation, to go to the pure consciousness, the unbounded inner awareness, where the mind is not thinking, but just unboundedly aware. You can imagine like an ocean. There's a lot of activities. There are many, many waves going on. And when the activity settles down, that means when the wind becomes less and less and less, and then the waves become less and less and less. And just suppose there is no wind, then the individual wave has disappeared and has become the unbounded ocean. And when the mind is settling down the activity, when we speak in terms of yoga, yoga is defined by Patanjali, Maharshi Patanjali, the founder of the yoga system. Yoga chitti vritti nirodha. That means when the activity of the mind comes to complete standstill, then we are left with the inner self, and that is blissful by its nature. This is really yoga. These postures are a very beneficial part of it, but yoga in actuality is meant to experience samadhi, which is the inner unbounded bliss consciousness. It's like when we draw on the arrow and the bow, we draw the arrow back opposite from the goal. And then the more energy we get, the more we pull the arrow back. And just like this in transcendental meditation, we pull the mind back to its unbounded source. And when we come out of meditation, we have more energy and we can fulfill our desires much more efficiently. So we go inward because it's more pleasing to the mind, it's more charming to the mind. And how do we get there? How do we actually get there? You know, the water flows down naturally. And like that, the mind naturally wants to experience more happiness. And it's just like jumping. We just have to, when we dive in the water, we just have to take the correct angle and then let go. We have seen already how the brainwave activities become more coherent, more orderly, and how the conscious mind goes within, is diving within. Now, when we compare transcendental meditation with other forms of meditation, there are thousands of forms of meditation. Usually people think I can't meditate because it's difficult for me to concentrate. And concentrate means that we fix the mind here on a certain point. But concentration is an activity. And during transcendental meditation, we go to a state of non-activity. Another example is that the ability to rest is already contained in the ability to be active. Everybody of us can walk, can run, and everybody who can run, he can walk slowly, and stand still. Like that, everybody can think. And during transcendental meditation, we start to think less, like these bubbles, we go within. And the other forms of meditation that are commonly known, they belong to the area of monitoring, mindfulness, contemplation, where we move with the mind on the surface level from meaning to meaning. That can also be some kind of relaxing. We move in the horizontal direction, whereas in transcendental meditation, we go in the vertical direction. Now, how do we get there? How do we get to the source of thinking, to the pure consciousness? We need a technique for this. And the technique is very simple. First of all, we have to close our eyes. And then, when we close our eyes, we have to see that the mind is kept awake, but without any direction. And to accomplish that, we need two things. One thing is the mantra. The mantra is an individually chosen, very specific sound that has only positive effects. Positive effects for the surrounding, the body, the nervous system, the mind, and everything in creation. So we have to learn a mantra, a specific sound that is suitable to us. And the mantra has the quality to keep the mind awake, but leave the mind undirected, and then naturally we are drawn within. So the first thing that we have to learn is from a qualified teacher who has been trained by His Holiness Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, how to select the mantra. And the second aspect that we have to learn, which is equally important, is the technique, how to use the mantra properly. And that is very important because the only thing we can do wrong in transcendental meditation is to strain, to make an effort. And to learn the transcendental meditation, the mantra can be learned actually in one session of about 1 hour, 1.5 hours. But how to use the mantra properly, we need about 4 consecutive days, 1.5 hours each, to learn it. So I just go back to share the screen again to show you again some other drawing here to make it more clear, the illustration. So we have explained we need the mantra, the sound, and how to use it, and the correct instruction, how to use it, how to use the natural tendency of the mind and transcend. And it's a very systematic technique, it's very scientific, and it's completely natural. It doesn't require any effort. Now, where do the teachers of transcendental meditation know from which mantra is suitable to which person. And I have been trained, it was a long training, over 1 year intensive, directly from His Holiness Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, my teacher. And during my teacher training course, we asked Maharshi, where do you know from which mantra suits to which person? And he said, I learned it from my master. His name is Swami Brahmananda Saraswati, Jagat Guru Bhagwan. He was the Chankacharya of Jyotirmat. You don't have to remember this long name. We just nickname him as Gurudev. And Gurudev comes from a very ancient, the oldest tradition of knowledge in the world is the Vedic tradition from the Himalayas. And when we teach transcendental meditation, then we teach it always in the same systematic way as we have learned it. And for this reason, you will see that the first 5-10 minutes, the teacher will not talk to you. He will perform a traditional ceremony honoring the tradition of Vedic masters. We call it a puja, Guru Puja. And then we remember in Sanskrit all the great achievements that this tradition has maintained over thousands of years. And we promise that we don't add anything, we don't leave anything away. We just teach it in the name of the holy tradition of Vedic masters. That will take a few minutes, and then you will just watch something that is thousands of years old. And this Vedic ceremony of thanksgiving is a preparation for the teacher. It uplifts his consciousness and enables him to pass on this supreme knowledge from this level of purity, of unbounded consciousness. And this makes the teaching so effective. Now, when you want to learn transcendental meditation, you have to find a teacher. And at the end, I will show a website. It's the same website for all over the world. It's www.tm.org. And there you select the continent, where you're coming from, and then the country. And then there is a map with the different centers of transcendental meditation, or you send an email in which city you are, and you will get an answer of some teachers in your vicinity. And then you go there. You have already listened to the first lecture last time with the benefits of transcendental meditation. Today you have had the preparatory talk that explains the mechanics of the technique and how it's different from other forms of meditation. And the next step will then be a personal interview with the teacher. And then you decide if you want to learn. And when you want to learn the transcendental meditation, you bring a few gifts for the ceremony, some nice sweet fruits, some flowers, 5-6 flowers, and a new white handkerchief. These things have a symbolic value. And to learn the transcendental meditation, there are actually only 3 requirements. The first requirement is that you need to have the time to learn it. The next step will be the interview with the TM teacher. And following that, there are 3 consecutive days of teaching, 1.5 hours each day. And you need to be able to attend all the meetings. And then the second requirement is there is a course fee, which is different from country to country. I think in India, it may be $50 or something like that. And you will also have a longer service later on for checking the correctness of the meditation and some advanced meetings. And the third requirement is if somebody has taken unprescribed drugs, hallucinogenic drugs, he will have to be free from those influences for about 2 weeks, because otherwise the mind wouldn't be able to experience the pure consciousness clearly. So these are the 3 only requirements. And you don't have to change your belief. You don't have to change your lifestyle. Everybody can do it, from all cultures, from all religions, independent from age. Starting from the age of 4, there's a children technique, and from 10 years of age, It's the adult technique. There is no restriction to old age. Anybody basically who can think can meditate. And you will be astonished about the wonderful results that you will start enjoying even from the first days of practicing transcendental meditation. So just to summarize the session, if you'd like to learn transcendental meditation, you have to find a teacher in your vicinity. We'll show you the website later again. And you have to learn two things. You will learn an individual sound, a mantra, which has only evolutionary life-supporting benefits for all areas of life. And this mantra is capable, when you have learned how to use it properly, in a very easy, effortless way to take you within, to transcend and experience the self, the pure consciousness, the bliss consciousness. And so I have promised not to be too long this time. So we have enough time for questions. But before we go on to that, I just wanted to show you the websites that I have mentioned to you. Just a moment. So we have explained the ceremony. We have explained the 7 steps of learning transcendental meditation. It's a self-sufficient technique. You can do it at home. We provide a lifelong service, enriching your knowledge and experience. And the requirements are the 4 consecutive days, then 15 days free from a non-prescribed drugs, and there is a course fee, and you have to bring the fruits, the flowers, the white handkerchief, and basically that's all. So now, water the root, that is the motto. Water the root to enjoy the root, and the root of life is our self, the pure consciousness. And here we have the websites, tm.org, and for the corporate development program with all the reference of the companies in India that are enjoying the benefits of transcendental meditation, it's mcdpindia.org. And then you have also my personal website here. So thank you very much. And now I'm very much looking forward to answer the questions.
Dear learners, if you have any kind of query, we would request you to raise your hand. We shall allow you to speak and ask question to sir directly. You have an option to raise hand. Anyone who has any kind of query can raise hand and sir will take up the question. Prasad sir.
Yes, Himanshu, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Himanshu Singh, Satish, Siddhi.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Hello.
Yes, please say your question.
Actually, what is the topic I'm joining now? So, topic, can you explain the topic?
Yeah, I think if you have joined now, it will be better that you see the tape of this recording. So we have time for those who have joined the session, who have heard about the mechanics of transcendental meditation, to questions related to that. I see one question here in the chat: which is the best time to do the meditation in a day? We are meditating twice a day for 20 minutes. And we do it in the morning after taking shower before breakfast. And we do it again in the evening, sometime between 5 and 7, before taking the dinner. But we are also a little bit flexible. It doesn't have to be the same time every day, but this would be a good routine for the daily life.
So also we have one more question from a learner. They say that the impact of meditation in our thinking, how will it impact in our thinking once we start meditating?
It will have a beautiful effect in the way that we become more settled, we become more calm, and we become more creative and more dynamic at the same time. It's like the example that I showed when we pull back the arrow on the bow, then we reach that state of this restful alertness in the mind. We go back to the source of the thinking process and we expand our potential. And it's like when you have slept well, you are more energetic during the day. And the difference with transcendental meditation is that we are not dull like in sleep, but we are much more rested. The physiological rest is about twice as deep as during deep sleep. And when we come out of meditation, we feel very energetic, like we would have slept for a couple of hours, and we become more creative.
Hi, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes.
My name is Satish, and I am proud to be born in Brahmin caste. In our regular life, we follow meditation, mantra, like that. I am feeling proud. Why means in modern generation, meditation is you are teaching, and we are taking the classes of what is the importance of meditation. And it is this class can be better if you start the meditation class by chanting one mantra like Gayatri mantra. You can use mantra also, na sir? In some, you can explain the little bit meaning so that everyone can understand.
Yeah. You see, there is a difference between transcendental meditation and many other forms of meditation. Usually meditation is considered to be, one has to make an effort, one has to concentrate. And with transcendental meditation, this is a uniqueness of the technique that we don't have to concentrate. It's very easy and very effortlessly practiced. And it's a great joy to practice. You know, I have been practicing TM now for 49 years, and I'm still looking forward every day to my next meditation. It's such a pleasing experience. And you will be able to follow whatever you do, your religion, you know, but you will be able, when you practice TM, to do the other things more successfully. So the TM technique is really unlike any other form of meditation, but it is enriching your other religious or spiritual practices. So you will have to go, you cannot learn it from books, you cannot learn it from YouTubes. The instruction has to be done individually, so you will have to go to the Center of Transcendental Meditation and find a qualified teacher.
Hello, Mr. Lothar. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. Hi, this is Swati. Thank you for such a wonderful session. I mean, it was really precise, and I could actually understand what the meditation and especially the transcendental meditation is about. So I'm just curious, how did you come across this meditation and how it has benefited you in your professional or personal life?
Yeah, even as a child, I was interested in meditation. And then in my youth, I somehow lost that connection. And then I met some other people who were radiating some happiness, and they had something that I also wanted to have. And I was too shy to ask them, but then I came to know that they were practicing transcendental meditation. And then when I saw the picture of the Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, then I felt very attracted. I really felt there is some very deep knowledge there and some authenticity, and that he really lived what the scriptures talk about, enlightenment and higher states of consciousness. And then when I learned transcendental meditation, my whole life changed. You know, everything became better. My health became better. My creativity, I became more interested in evolving life. And then I decided, if it is doing so good to me, then I would like to learn more about it. And then eventually I became a teacher of Transcendental Meditation in 1978. And I have taught thousands of people in all continents. And I have seen how their life has changed even after a few weeks, few months, tremendously. And I see in Transcendental Meditation the solution for all the problems that we are facing in the world today, in terms of development of consciousness, of living more in harmony with natural law by becoming more aware. I can see how the health of so many people has improved. All the studies that we have, the social behavior becomes better. And there is a big need now even to create peace in the world. And we have seen for so many studies that big groups of practitioners of Transcendental Meditation and its advanced programs, they can release the collective tensions and stress. So I feel very proud and very happy that I came across this knowledge from India, that I had such a good teacher, and that I have become able to teach the Transcendental Meditation to other people. So it's a wonderful way of improving one's life just by closing the eyes 20 minutes twice a day and go to the inner state of harmony and peace.
Thank you. That was really wonderful to hear.
Hello, sir. Pratham this side.
I'm sorry, I can't read all the chat messages that come in while I'm talking. So better ask the questions directly.
Hello, sir. Pratham this side, sir.
Pratham, come again. We could not hear you.
Sir, I want to ask about does the meditation increases the life of the people?
I didn't understand the question.
Sir, I want to ask a question that does the meditation increases the life of the person?
Yes, the quality of life and probably even the lifespan. The scientific research shows that when we meditate Transcendental Meditation regularly, that the aging process is slowed down. There's quite impressive research. And the more recent research even shows that the genes are changing through Transcendental Meditation. And those genes which are responsible for increasing the lifespan, they're changing very significantly.
Sir, can you suggest some books related to the meditation?
Yeah, as I said before, you cannot learn this unique Transcendental Meditation as taught by Maharshi Yogi. You cannot learn it from books. There are some books from Maharshi, like The Science of Being and the Art of Living, and also his translation and commentary to the Bhagavad Gita. And Maharshi's successor, Professor Dr. Tony Neda, who is a great neurologist, he has written a wonderful book. It's called Consciousness is All There Is by Dr. Neda. So there are books where you can read to understand more the benefits of meditation. But if you want to learn it, you can only learn it from a qualified teacher.
Okay, sir. Since from 2 years I am doing meditation, sir. I want to do a proper type of meditation.
Yeah, so I can recommend
for beneficial life.
Yeah, so I would recommend strongly to learn Transcendental Meditation. So you can go to the website tm.org and then you find more information.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So I just
Hello,
see-
sir.
Yes.
This is very wonderful session, sir. I do meditations daily 30 minutes, but it's very difficult to concentrate a mind. It gets difficult. So,
Yeah, that
uh,
is the difference with transcendental meditation. Because we're not controlling the mind, we're not making an effort, but you have to learn the proper technique that makes the difference.
okay.
And
Could you
I
tell
have
me
taught,
about seven chakra meditation?
yeah, it's not chakra meditation.
Okay, okay.
I have taught many, many people, also in India and around the world, who have been practicing different forms of meditation, who found it very difficult to concentrate, or like people are saying here, control the mind. And when they learn TM, you know, even after a few days, they say, wow, this is a big difference, you know. But the taste of pudding is in eating, you know. I cannot describe how a strawberry tastes if you don't have the taste. So if you want to have the taste of transcending, how to effortlessly go within and experience the pure consciousness, you'll have to go to a teacher and learn it there. And I understand that many of you are from different parts of the world, many also from Africa. And I'm very happy to say that almost in every country, we have enough teachers of transcendental meditation. So you can go there and have a qualified instruction.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Ashok this side. I want to ask you a question. Is there is any mantras of meditation? How to concentrate in our mind?
Yeah.
Because I'm suffering from anxiety
Yes.
since last 4 years.
Yes. Yes, there are many studies about the reduction of anxiety. I just take the opportunity to share one of those researches with you. There are around the world 146 studies how different forms of relaxation and meditation are reducing anxiety. And scientists have made a study. Out of these 146 studies, they did one study. It's called a meta-analysis. This is the highest standard of a scientific study. And they have compared, you know, mindfulness and muscle relaxation and so many different forms of meditation, concentration and contemplation. And the result of this big meta-analysis was that the transcendental meditation is more than twice as effective as all other forms of meditation to reduce anxiety and fear. So you have to learn something new if you want to have the benefits. You know, you have to go to the website, you have to find a teacher, and you have to take a course, but it takes only like, you know, 4 consecutive days. And then you can learn the meditation. And if you missed the last lesson about the benefits of transcendental meditation, this was especially related to the corporate world, then I think the university, DPU, is providing a link that you can listen the last lesson also. And with that information, you can go to the TM Center and make an appointment for an interview, and then also for learning personal instruction of the transcendental meditation technique.
How
hello,
many
sir.
time
Hello.
we spend on meditation?
Can you
Hello.
say it again? Can you say it again?
Hello.
Hello, sir. I have one question. Nilesh Patil on this side.
Yes.
Sir, if I start the meditation at home,
Then how much time I can do meditation at home, and what is the best timing? That means morning, afternoon, or evening.
Hello.
Yeah, we meditate once we have learned properly. We meditate 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the late afternoon. So in the morning, good time is after shower, when you get up, before breakfast. And in the late afternoon or evening, good time is before dinner, something between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. But if you have a different schedule, you can also adjust. But we do it morning and evening, 20 minutes each.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Hello,
Hi,
sir.
sir.
This is Tushar from India.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I just wanted to know, meditation can relieve the stress, right? And stress comes from the negative thinking.
Yes.
Am I right, sir?
Meditation is the most powerful means to release stress.
Right. So whenever I try to do meditation, sir, I start thinking some negative thoughts and all. So can I start chanting some mantras or anything while doing some meditation or anything like that?
No. As I said before, you can do anything you like, but if you want to have the benefits of the transcendental meditation as taught by Maharshi Yogi's organization throughout the world, then you have to learn it from the teachers who are qualified, to have a very thorough training. And it cannot be compared with chanting mantras or anything you have been doing so far. And I don't know if you were attending the earlier part of the lecture, where I showed the brainwave research, how the brainwave activities change even after a few seconds, after 2-3 minutes, tremendous change, which shows that all the different parts of the brain, front, left, right, and back, they all become orderly, coherent, producing these alpha waves, which show restful alertness. This is very, very unique to this transcendental meditation. There have been comparative studies with other forms of meditation, and there is no technique that is so easily learned and so easily applied, where you have such dramatic results, even within a few days.
Hello.
So you can forget about what you have learned about other meditations. If you want to have those benefits, then I know it's a very strong statement, but this is really what I have experienced as a teacher since 1978. TM makes the difference. TM stands for Transcendental Meditation. Yeah, more questions?
Hi, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir, my question is different. Can I ask you?
please.
Sir, how can you aim at one thing completely and that thing till that end?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't quite understand.
Sir, how can you aim at one thing completely and that thing till that end?
Well, in respect to the technique of transcendental meditation, we are utilizing the nature of the mind. And the human mind has the nature to always go for more happiness, more fulfillment, more charm. And the most fundamental level of our life, which is called in Vedic terms Atma, which is, one of the limbs of the yoga, the highest, Samadhi, the bliss consciousness. This is our most inner nature. And we can reach that nature very easily with the technique of transcendental meditation. And once we have learned the mantra, the proper sound, and the technique how to use it properly, it's actually just a technique to learn how to let go. And since the mind is always looking for more happiness, the mind very spontaneously goes to that field once we have learned how to do it. But for some things in life, you need a technique. So if you want to go from Delhi to Mumbai, you can go with a train, you can go with a bicycle, you can go with a car, or you go with a jet, you know. And so the jet reaches the goal without a lot of effort in a very most comfortable way. And if you want to go to the self, the pure consciousness, there are many techniques where you can strain and perhaps you reach it. But TM is like the jet. You know, you just sit comfortably, close your eyes, and you just start the process, and nature itself will take you to that state. Does it make any sense? Did you understand? Did you understand?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Did you understand me?
So that wasn't my question.
Oh.
I'm going to ask now. So I was unable to mute. I was just testing if my mic was on. So I'm Dr. Shafia Sayed, and I want to compliment you first of all because your aura is very welcoming and very warm. So I really wanted to know if you have a favorite experience from your TM practice in all these years. Which was your most favorite experience or most memorable one, and why so?
Why so? Did you say why so?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because it is giving me the opportunity to go twice without any effort, to go twice a day, to dive within and come out refreshed. And you get the reward immediately. You know, when you close your eyes and you practice TM, it feels so charming to experience the pure consciousness. It is so fulfilling for the mind to experience the unbounded awareness, which is blissful by its nature. And when you come out, you see how your life in every way improves, how you have more energy, how you can communicate better with other people, how the quality of love is growing day by day when you meditate. You see the ability to love is so precious. And the ability to love depends how relaxed we are and how sharp is our perception. And the contrary is we would be completely stressed and overshadowed with problems. And then we can't appreciate the environment and other people. So when we take care of releasing our own stress, our own tension, when we become more calm and more focused, then we can appreciate the nature much more. And the ability to love grows. And also when we meditate, by experience the inner peace, we are significantly contributing to great peace in the world. Because all of us, we are connected. In the first lesson, I don't know if you saw it, I explained the discovery of the unified field of all the laws of nature from quantum physics. How everything in the universe is connected with everything else. And when we become active from this field of infinite correlation, then we are spreading waves of peace and harmony around us. And everybody can do it because we are all part of nature. We just come back to ourselves. So it's a wonderful gift from the ancient Vedic tradition of India, the land of the Veda for the whole world. Yoga has become a household word in almost all countries of the world. Ayurveda has become very popular, and the transcendental meditation is the essence of Ayurveda and of yoga. And I would like to invite all of you to go and take this gift and benefit all your life with the practice of transcendental meditation.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, good afternoon. Atul this side from India, Jaipur, Rajasthan, the pink city.
Yes.
Sir, my question is, as I am also a professional tarot card reader, Reiki healer as well.
Yes.
So, can we control self or others' mind as well through meditation? Is it possible?
No, we don't control others people's mind. This is a very innocent technique. But when you practice it for yourself, then you will see that your other skills, like your healing capacity, will increase. And you will also experience that your fatigue, treating other people as a physiotherapist, you're dealing with sick people, and you'll get tired naturally. But when you integrate the practice of transcendental meditation into your daily life, then you can release the stress that you have accumulated during your work, like everybody else accumulates stress during their work. And then you have more energy. And then you can also be a greater contribution to your clients and to your patients. But we don't, with transcendental meditation, control or attempt to control the mind of other people. It's a very innocent technique. It just means settling down the own activities of our mind and experiencing a state of unbounded inner peace. That's all. Very innocent.
Okay. One more question I have.
Yes.
Hypnosis is also, I think so, it's a part of meditation, or this is something else?
It's something completely else. In fact, when people practice hypnosis, there was a research study comparing, then they showed that the metabolic rate during the process of hypnosis is increasing. And when people practice transcendental meditation, then the metabolic rate drops down within few minutes by about 16%. Just as a comparison, during the deepest phase of sleep, it takes about 5 hours for the metabolic rate to drop by 8%, and during TM by 16%, and during hypnosis, the metabolic rate goes up. So TM is completely natural, innocent, and easy, and we are not trying to control people outside us.
Thank you so much, sir. It
Yes,
was
sir.
really nice.
Sir, we'll take one more question and then we'll stop for the day, sir.
Okay.
Learners, please ask last question.
Okay, a very good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Myself, Anam. Actually, I would like to ask you that, what if someone wants to make meditation a part of their life, but often you just don't feel like it? I mean, what to do in such situation?
Well, everybody who wants to do it, he has to take the time. And after some time of practicing, it should become a routine, like brushing the teeth or taking a shower, If you take a shower, when you go out to work, you take a shower, you feel fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
When you have if you haven't had to travel and you come home in the evening, you're exhausted, you take a shower and then you feel fresh again. And similar with transcendental meditation, it's like refreshment of the mind and the body, just mentally, to refresh. And if you don't do it, then we don't have the benefits. But it's our decision if we do it or if we don't do it, like taking a shower or brushing the teeth.
All right. And also, I would like to know from you that what would you like to advise our younger generation, for the anger issues?
Oh, yeah. Anger is not good for our health. And to reduce anger, transcendental meditation is very helpful.
All right.
I have seen that in many of my clients, after they practice TM, they become more balanced and more tolerate, and anger can go down. But there are also other Ayurvedic approaches from the Ayurvedic, the ancient health science of India. We will go into detail in the later sessions.
All
In the
right.
next session, we talk about Vedic management principles, how we can derive from this precious, most ancient source of life, principles that we can apply in our business practice. And then in 2 sessions following that, we are talking about Ayurveda, Maharshi Ayurveda, the ancient healthcare science. And anger is an expression of an imbalance of the Pitta dosha. And through proper diet and other means, we can also support from the physical angle to become more into balance and more harmonious.
All right.
So since the moderator said this would be the last question,
Hello,
it was,
sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
it
Hello,
was a
sir.
great joy for me to have so many
Hello, sir.
questions. Yes.
Vidya ma'am, you want to ask anything?
No, sir. It's just I want
Okay.
to thank sir. Very
Okay.
pleasure
Okay.
to have you, sir. Sir, I am a Ayurvedic student, sir. And as soon as I saw you, you are a CEO of Maharshi Ayurveda Center. I'm very happy to see you on the screen, sir. I'm also bachelor of Ayurveda Science, sir.
Oh,
I think I
thank-
have missed the last class of yours, sir.
yes. So I think it is available on YouTube. You can get it.
Yeah,
and
sure,
watch
sir.
it.
Actually, I joined WhatsApp group later, sir. I just
Okay.
wanted to say I'm very happy to see you on the screen, sir. That's it, sir.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
And thanks for the session, sir. It was a wonderful session. And thank you, sir.
It was my great joy. I'm always happy to speak about this Vedic knowledge from India. And I'm very grateful to India, the land of the Veda, for this knowledge, which has enriched the life of so many people in the world. Like in my center, we have treated more than 30,000 people with chronic diseases where Ayurveda could help the people a lot. And I'm also very grateful to DPU. This is really a wonderful institution. And I congratulate you all for choosing DPU as your university. And I think together we can accomplish a lot more. So thank you also to the leadership and everybody at DPU and all the students. All the best to you. Good luck.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thanks.
you, sir.
Thanks for the session, sir. Thank you so much.